Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction haunt entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you once again whenever you may be catching us. If you're in the chat live with us now, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to participate and goad us on. If you were catching us Monday when the recorded version goes live, thank you for catching it so early. Appreciate that. But whenever you're listening to it, that's fine. We don't set your schedule. This is Haunt Weekly. We don't play by anybody's rules. But definitely do take a moment, no matter when you're listening to us, check us out. We're at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly is our YouTube channel. Every previous episode is available there for easy listening. It's very easy to go through. We got lists and stuff like that. It's great. You can also catch us on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern on our Facebook. Once again, facebook.com/hauntweekly, as we do this live with a chat ongoing. So if you want to be a part of this as it happens, God help you. What the hell's wrong with you? All right. So, yeah. We've got a lot of housekeeping to get through this week. This is going to be a big one for the housekeeping stuff. First things first, last week's question of the week.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything haunt related on our brains to ask y'all, but we had a huge debate in our house going, and we needed some outside input, so y'all helped us a lot.
Yeah.
And we asked you, what was your favorite Girl Scout cookie, and holy shit. Did we open up the floodgates with that one?
We got a lot of suggestions.
Woo! I want to say I think every Girl Scout cookie in every region was mentioned at least once.
Yeah, and it's weird because we actually learned from this that we are on the dividing line of like 3 different regions.
Yeah, and it's weird. We knew there were 2 regions.
Yeah.
Right? We knew there were separate regions in the United States, but we never bothered to look up the map to see like where the nearest like divide was to us. It turns out New Orleans is basically its own thing.
Yeah.
We can go either east or west about an hour and get different Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
So just something to know for future reference for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually really good news because that means that now Girl Scout cookies are a once every 6-month thing, not every yearly thing.
Yeah.
And that's great news. I appreciate knowing that. But yeah, I think tag-alongs were probably the lead.
Yeah, they were the surprise favorite. I actually tried one for the first time today.
And?
I opened the box. It was fine. It is not a Samoa, but it's fine.
You know, I'm Team Thin Mint. We had this discussion last week. We know I'm Team Thin Mint, and there was a couple of us in that chat, too, including one person suggesting Thin Mint's frozen, which is, A, an awesome way to eat Thin Mints. I have done that. But also, B, a lot of effort, and we don't have a lot of freezer space.
That is true. We do not have a lot of freezer space.
I don't think I'm freezing Thin Mints in this house.
No.
Because we have I don't know how. We have a chest freezer and a top freezer, but yet somehow we have negative freezer space right now. So I don't think I'm freezing Thin Mints. First, I got to get my hands on some goddamn Thin Mints. They were out.
I know. They were out, and I haven't seen them selling in front of stores anywhere.
National Thin Mint shortage is like fucking lumber. Which coincidentally brings us to our question of the week for this week, and I'm very eager for this one. Hang on one second. I need to make a mic adjustment because.
Okay, well, you stop talking, and I will do the question of the week.
Go for it. That's a great idea.
Do that.
That is an excellent idea.
So we're stealing this from Brian Foreman over at Haunter's Toolbox. If you're not a member of Haunter's Toolbox, the
Please
Facebook
sign
group.
Up. It is awesome.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good information there. But they asked, with lumber prices being outrageous this year.
And they are absolutely batshit insane.
Yep. How are you changing your big haunt projects? Are are you rethinking those big builds? We want to know.
Yeah, and I think that's a valid question. Are you postponing haunt projects? Are you altering them? Or are you just moving forward and shelling out tons and tons of money?
No.
What is your plan for dealing with the lumber prices? We are actually in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah.
Because, it's never good to have had 2 back-to-back closures.
No.
Neither of them under your control.
Exactly. In fact, we heard from teenagers down the street that they thought we just weren't doing it anymore.
Yeah, y'all don't do it anymore. There was a big whoop-de-doo at the corner. I won't go into that. But yeah, we were hanging out, talking with some of the neighbors, including some of the kids.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, y'all don't do the haunted. I'm like, look, we didn't have a road in 2019 and 2020. There was COVID.
Yeah.
We couldn't. So, yeah, 2021, we're coming run back. And we made sure that the high schooler especially, like, you tell your friends we're coming back.
It sounds like he has been.
It sounds like he has been. We've been getting fucking calls all week about the haunted house.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's about.
No.
We only opened the last weekend of October plus Halloween, and now we're getting calls in March.
Yeah.
Like, is there any haunt in the country? I know the one in Galveston's open, the pirate one.
Yeah, well, maybe they were thinking it's because the weekend after St. Patrick's Day that we were opening for that?
I don't
know.
The St. Patrick's Day Irish bars closed in New Orleans for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've had 2 years of closures. This haunt has been done since roughly January 2020.
Yeah.
It's been done and as complete as it's going to get from a build standpoint for over a year. We have a few things we want to do. We want to do some rearranging, but none of it requires new lumber.
No.
We also have a decent stockpile of used lumber and leftover lumber from other projects we can tap into if we need it.
Right.
The only worry I have is our outside queue line is looking kind of ragged in places. And I think it just needs some shoring up and some repairing.
No.
It's been neglected, and that's on us. Because, like I said, we haven't been open in 2 years, and we built it for the 2018 season.
Mm-hmm.
It's held up well given that. But so what we're going to do is we're probably going to pick a weekend or sometime soon, go out, clean everything out of it, or at least put it in a better place, and then examine it and make sure it's still usable and what repairs we need, if any.
Yeah.
Because I know we probably need to replace some fence boards on it. I know we have a few odds in it.
Yeah, there are some broken fence boards. We do.
Some extra bits. So I don't think we need any new lumber as long as the thing is still square and plumb.
You know it's not. You could look at it and tell it's not.
Well, okay, assuming it's not more unsquare and unplumbed than when we first built it.
Okay.
Which is, so that's the thing. Because we didn't build it perfectly square and plumb because it's New Orleans. It's impossible to build anything level without putting a whole new foundation down, which we did not do. So yeah, once again, to repeat the question of the week, with lumber prices being how they are, if and how are they changing your haunt plans? I'm very curious to find out. No change for us, luckily, yet. All right, the second item of housekeeping. This is fun. I've been looking forward to this all fucking week. I gotta be honest. I found this out on Monday, literally right after the previous episode went live. So I've been literally sitting on this for 6 days now. If you remember last week, we talked about how our store disappeared. HauntWeeklyStore.com. Check it out. Our little store disappeared. It just up and disappeared. Teespring took it down.
No.
And we could not figure out what we did. And there was no email.
Nope.
No correspondence. Nothing telling us what the hell happened.
And the quote-unquote live chat was unhelpful.
Yeah.
That's the most unhelpful chat I've ever seen on a store website.
Yeah.
A business site.
Yeah, live chat my ass. It responded, I think, 8 hours later.
I know.
That is not live. That is barely email at that point.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on. I finally, after getting kicked around by a messenger, and this whole thing started, I think, Friday of the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took until Monday to get the response, which, I mean, okay, I get the weekend time, but still, we should have had a response Friday before we went live. But we didn't, Friday, and that way Sunday when we went live, we would have known what happened. We had no idea.
Yeah.
We found out what we did. And It's horrible, guys. I mean, I'm deeply sorry. I didn't realize we goofed this bad.
No.
It's tragic, and I want to deeply apologize to all that were impacted by it, because what we did was absolutely nothing.
Yep. Nope, not our fault.
I made sure to copy and paste the email we got from Teespring, because this is just gold. Mm-hmm. This is gold. Feel free to put your laugh react in the chat. You might want to get it typed up, just ready to hit enter, because it's that dumb. All right. Thank you for contacting Teespring. You gotta love the opener.
Yes.
That's a great opener. We apologize for the false removal of your Spring account due to a glitch in our system. Your account and storefronts have been automatically reactivated, And they did reactivate the store, but not put the fucking items back in it.
Nope.
So if you snake your way to the Haunt Weekly store on Teespring, it exists, just nothing's in it. Have been reactivated. You can now locate all your listings in your dashboard under Show Ended and Relaunch as you you wish to have those back in your storefront. If you need assistance with relaunching listing, and that's literally copy paste, they're relaunching your listing. There should be a word there.
There should be.
Relaunching listing or relocating items in your storefront, please contact, and then they give the email address that I'm not going to give out here.
Mm-hmm.
So we did nothing, and they deleted our store. Now, bear in mind...
And then they expected us to put it back.
Yeah, they expected us to, build it back. Which, I mean, by that point, yeah, we built the store back. We built it on a different platform.
Yes.
Using a site we control.
Right.
And a domain we own, and everything's ours now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy with it, because now we get to choose who we partner with for the print-on-demand stuff. We get to choose a better choice of our prices, though still not anywhere near complete control, believe me.
Yeah.
So anyways, we have the new store now, hauntweeklystore.com, and there are some new items on there if you want to check them out. Mm-hmm. Over the past week, at the request of one of our listeners, we have added sweatshirts and hoodies.
Yes. Yes, we did.
We added sweatshirts and hoodies. They are both available in the store. It feels kind of weird adding those in March when it's going to be getting warm, but she was Canadian, so...
No, she wasn't.
She's California. Wait a minute. Why are you asking for sweatshirts?
Because she likes sweatshirts.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? If you like for some reason I was thinking someone else. No, it was not. Not her. No, I had someone else in my head as having asked it because I am dumb. But regardless, yes, we got sweatshirts and hoodies, both of them in this exact same style as the logo T-shirt. Feel free to check those out. Mm-hmm. It's just, go. It's an awesome store now. We're going to do some redesigning. It's got the quickie theme I put in to get it up because, like I said, Teespring deleted our store randomly.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And so it was a panic thing. I've got to do the actual graphic design, but everything's there. Everything's legit. I'm still working on a few bugs. But
yeah, in fact, if you're joining us live, I've got the Pride Haunt Weekly shirt on. We ordered it through the new system to test out.
This was our test order. Yeah. We ordered this. We ordered a sticker and some buttons.
It came within 3 days.
Yeah,
it was really fast.
It was under 5 days.
Yeah, the buttons and stickers are taking a little bit longer, but the apparel seems to be there quick.
Yeah, and that's the two warnings I'm going to give anyone that buys from the new Haunt Weekly store. One, since we have different print-on-demand vendors for every product. All the T-shirts come from the same place. I made sure of that. But the buttons, stickers, hats, all that, obviously are going to come from different places. If you order a variety of stuff, it may come in multiple shipments. Don't be alarmed. That's fine. That's normal. And the other is, right now, you're going to get an invoice. Apparently, you get an email receipt from Copybyte, which is my day business, but that's because we hooked up to my Stripe account.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to try to resolve that. Hopefully, that'll be fixed next week. We'll either set up a Stripe account specifically for Haunt Weekly, or I'll have that fixed so those receipts won't look like Copybyte. But if you get a receipt from Copybyte, just know it's me.
Yeah.
That's literally my business. So just assume it says Jonathan Bailey. Everyone else does. And if you want to test that out, if you want to get a receipt from Copybyte, you've got a chance right now because we're using the coupon code Uncanny Valley. That's UNCANNYVALLEY. Uncanny Valley, one word, for 20% off your purchase through Thursday. So check it out. Lots of neat stuff in there. Get a sweatshirt. Sweatshirts are cool. Mm-hmm. All right.
Actually, they're warm.
Actually, they're very warm. So we also want to take a minute and say thank you to Japes.
Yes.
Japes Palace. He will be on next week, it looks like.
It does, yeah. So that's exciting news. But, he sent us a box of tons of cool shit.
Yeah, you sent him a knitted thing you made.
Yeah, a couple.
A couple knitted things. And we were like, just send us a couple shirts or whatever, and it'll be fine.
I'd rather have Lost Soul shirts for me. Just send us that. It's even.
He sent us this giant ass heavy box of Lost Souls merchandise.
It's awesome.
It is amazing stuff.
So, what we're going to do is the winners who are still waiting for prizes, because I'm so far behind and I'm so sorry. You'll be getting something from Lost Souls. My mom has sent us another package.
With a lot of... She sent a big-ass package, too. We got all the big-ass packages.
Yeah, exactly. With a ton of really cool stuff.
And
cards and bookmarks and notebooks and all sorts of stuff. I finished the miniature paintings, and at least one person is getting an actual mini.
Yeah.
It's a mini pumpkin head dude that's going on for a shelf or something. So all of that is going to the prize winners. Yeah. And this also means that because I'm excited about all this new stuff to give out, we're going to start doing winners again probably in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we're going to...
Not this week.
Give us time to catch up.
Yeah,
Please
exactly.
Give us time to catch up right now because we are about a month and a half behind, I think, in terms of winners. Oh, I've underestimated how serious the problem is. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
We're behind. So let us get caught up now that we've got all this cool stuff. But we don't have, like, the stuff we're giving out is not nearly even like half.
No. This will keep us for a while.
This will keep us probably into summer, honestly. It's a lot of stuff we're talking about. So, Japes, thank you so much for all the cool Lost Soul swag.
Yes,
it looks awesome.
Thank you.
I am very happy with my Lost Soul shirt. I don't normally wear high visibility orange, which is what it is. But the thing is, you never know when you need high visibility orange.
Exactly.
And I don't own anything that color, so definitely in situations where I need it, I'm going to use it.
Yes, I will wear it next week when he's on.
Yes.
So that you can see what it looks like.
It is an awesome shirt, and it's actually a really cool, well-printed shirt, too. It's just a great shirt. So we got one apiece, and the rest, they're going out to you guys. you a lot. So... Good news, prizes are beginning again soon. So get your stick in. All right. And finally, what have we been working on? We finally took apart the fucking deer stand, which was bad. We'd overhyped this project in our head.
Yeah.
Because it was such a beast to put together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was such a beast. We're like, yeah, we've been postponing it and delaying it. We finally got it apart and back. And the whole thing taking it apart, because we didn't take it fully apart.
Yeah.
It only took like 40 minutes tops.
Yeah. Yes, it worked really well.
Until it nearly killed me.
Because we decided that the supports could be folded onto the main poles and not have to take everything apart. And
leave the poles assembled, too.
Yeah, and apparently when you take supports off, things try to fall.
Yeah, and one nearly got me on the cranium.
Yes, I caught it.
Yeah, she caught it. She saved my bacon on that one. I appreciate that. But then again, it was kind of your idea that got me in danger, so...
I didn't say put your head under the pole.
Well, you didn't say not to either, and this is me we're talking about.
That is true.
So, yes. But no, we got it down. We've done some general cleanup on the backyard. We're getting ready to start the cleanup at the side of the house. Mm-hmm. Taking apart the hot tub, unfortunately, is going to be part of that, I think.
Yeah.
It needs to be fully disassembled now and cleaned before it ever gets put back up. So we got work to do there. But the main thing is we got to make sure that the whole queue line in that structure is sound.
Yeah.
But no, it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to this week's topic now that we're about 18 minutes in. Wow.
Exactly.
I said we had a lot to go through. I mean, I did warn everybody.
You did.
I knew there was a lot, but yes. So the Uncanny Valley. Now, I've discussed this a lot on the podcast before. I'm kind of a weird creature in that I was born without any allergies, at least none yet. None have developed yet.
Right.
Could develop any time. And I don't have any actual phobias to speak of. None that are like the traditional, at least.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm not claustrophobic. I'm not agoraphobic. I have no real fear of heights, clowns, spiders, the dark, the usual stuff you see and the usual things haunts try to exploit. I do startle fairly easily, but don't we all, if we're being honest. The closest thing I have to a phobia is a feeling of extreme discomfort around uncanny valley objects.
Yeah.
So I feel uncanny valley very, very strongly. And as we're going to discuss, that there is variance there. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to talk about that. Great. I'm so happy.
You've had to deal with this all day.
Yes, I've been doing this research since about 9 o'clock this morning, 10 o'clock this morning. We're going to talk about the uncanny valley and ways that you can add cheap, effective, not necessarily scares, but cheap, effective, uneasy feeling to your guests. It's going to be interesting. So the first thing is, what is the uncanny valley? Well, it's a concept in the field of aesthetics and also robotics.
Right.
Kind of a little bit. It's actually first identified and first named by the robotics professor Mashiro Mori, Japanese robotics professor, in 1970. And this was right as like robotics was kind of a rapidly growing field and something people were taking seriously. And the original concept obviously deals with robotics. And basically the genesis of the theory goes like this. As robots become more human-like, our feelings toward them will get more and more positive. Think like, one of those industrial robots is just like a weird swing. We have no connection to that.
Yeah.
No feelings about that at all. But as they get more human-like, those feelings will improve. That's his theory. And basically, it's going to go improve until a point where it becomes near perfect. Nearly perfect. Emphasis on the near in that.
Right.
And then those feelings are going to take a sharp fucking dive.
Yeah.
Deep into the negative. Right before picking back up and become deeply positive again once they become fully human.
Yeah.
In appearance, at least. And this was originally thought to apply just to robotics, but the study has been adapted to just about everything else. Mm-hmm. And basically, anything that can have human-like qualities can cause the uncanny valley, as we'll see. We're going to talk about a lot of pretty much the only time we're talking about robotics was the genesis of the theory, because it's basically escaped robotics and into our daily lives in so many ways.
Right.
And so, what causes this feeling? Well, here's something interesting. It is a heterogeneous phenomenon. And what that means is it transcends cultural, socioeconomic, racial, gender, sexual, any divide in our society. With the exception of possibly younger generations having slight more immunity to it due to greater exposure, which we'll get into later. It's everyone is impacted by it to some degree, and that phenomenon exists almost on a biological level.
Yeah.
And that is bananas.
It is. There are very few things that affect everyone equally like that. And not that it's affecting everyone equally, but everyone is affected. Yeah.
In some capacity. Almost everyone experiences in some capacity, even if the effect is minor, or in my case, more pronounced.
Yeah. Yeah, in my case, very minor.
And the working theory right now, and they don't actually know what causes it. There's been a lot of research into showing that it exists, and that U-shaped dip in feeling is very real, but we don't really know what causes it. And because it is so base, we may never really know what causes it.
Yeah.
But the theory right now is that it's our lizard brains, that primordial goop that is our minds. Basically, we are trained to recognize patterns and to quickly tell if something is a person or not. We're supposed to look at a thing and go, people, not people.
Exactly.
That's something that's supposed to be very fundamental, and we're trained to do that from a very young age. In fact, babies are able to distinguish between not people and people very well from very young.
Yeah.
And if babies can do it, and we're pretty sure the babies aren't studying for the test.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
So if babies can do it, we're pretty sure this is an instinctual thing, fully instinctual. And the idea is that we're fine with things that are obviously not a person. If it's a stove, a chair, a wall, a lamp, whatever, doesn't matter.
Nope.
It's just not a person. It's fine. Not a person. It goes into that category. I am familiar with it. I am fine with it. It goes into that category.
Yeah. And
we're fine with people. People are like, yeah, that's a person. That's a man. That's a woman. That's a guy in a business suit. That's a woman in a dress. That's whatever. Mm-hmm. We're fine with it. It all makes sense. It fits the patterns. Now, we do get slightly more amused as things begin to look a little more human. You put googly eyes on a clock, and it gets a little face. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. There was an office that I did that to.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. How many googly eyes did you put up in the office before you'd left?
Maybe 50.
50 pairs of googly eyes?
Probably, yeah.
You left, and there's probably still fucking googly eyes in that office today. You haven't worked there in like a decade.
Yeah. Probably.
Or nearly a day. You've not worked there in about 7 years, actually. About 6-7 years. You haven't worked there. I bet there are still googly eyes. I bet if we went on a scavenger hunt, we could find googly eyes. You left.
Except I'm not sure that company is still there, period.
Oh, well, that's just cheating.
Yeah.
That's not...
There still might be googly eyes, but...
But it'd be a different company's office we're breaking into and having the scavenger hunt in. Because you've hit some of those really well. I remember you pointing some of them out to me.
No.
Again, no one's going to ever notice that. Mm-hmm. And when they do, they might actually get a little bit of a startle. But no, so like putting googly eyes on things, that's amusing. That's fine. And then it's also fine as it continues to be, more like a person. For example, a photograph of a person or a painting of a person. Still obviously not a person.
Right.
But it still tickles that space and we still recognize it and it makes us happy. Mm-hmm. That's still fine. But once it gets somewhat difficult to tell in the lizard brain part, like I said, this is base, not necessarily your intellectual bit.
Right.
What is or is not a person. It begins getting disturbing, especially if we see that person, quote unquote person, as possibly being a corpse, a zombie, or a prosthetic, or something that is human but not human.
Yeah. And so this is the one place that gets me is like there are makeup tutorials and things where you can have like multiple eyes and only, your real eyes move. That is like disturbing on some level. It's interesting as fuck, but it's also a little unsettling.
It's very unsettling, actually. So, yeah. Once it goes all the way to being just a person, we're fine. It's not, no matter how attractive or ugly that person is, we're just happy they're a person.
Yeah.
We're happy they're human. We are trained to recognize other members of our species, and as long as, we can easily see that they're a person or not a person, it's fine. But whenever you slip into that uncanny valley where something in the back of our brain is a little less than sure, something's off, something's wrong, the pattern recognition isn't working fully.
This is weird.
We begin to get very, very, very offset.
Yeah.
And so that's the working theory. That's only a theory, though, that has not been proven, and it's the best theory I think we have going right now. Now, there are some studies that claim that the uncanny valley doesn't exist, but those studies have not been replicatable. It's one thing I found interesting. And there are far, far, far more studies that do show the dip there, the U-shaped dip there, right as you approach perfection.
Yeah, and it might be that, some people need like the level of uncanniness to happen that I need in order to feel that effect, and they just aren't big enough sample size.
I'm pretty sure if you did a survey and asked, have you ever been unsettled by something that's too human but not human enough?
Yeah.
Almost everyone's experienced that at some point. I'm pretty sure of that. There's no way you haven't. But yeah. But just bear in mind that it's not perfect, and people experience it at different strengths and at different points on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Some people, it has to be like nearly perfectly human to impact it. Some people, it's got to be dialed. Some people get upset by just toys. And I'm not even talking like creepy dolls. I'm talking like, just Buzz Lightyears and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's different points in that spectrum where people will feel it and notice it. Also, and something I mentioned earlier, was that young people, especially those born and raised, anytime before I would say around the 1990s, so a little bit younger than us, but not a whole lot. If your formative years were in the 90s, like during the genesis of early CGI and those types of things, there's theoretically some inoculation effect as you've been exposed to more uncanny valley. Therefore, it may creep you out more, or creep you out less, rather. Sorry.
Right.
That said, there have actually, and this kind of really frustrates me here, because that's a really good question. Do kids who have had widespread exposure to this uncanny valley images, do they still sense it? There's been no goddamn study on that.
Nope.
They just haven't done it. And I guess part of that's ethics, because hey, we're going to show potentially traumatic images to kids. Probably didn't go so well with the ethics board.
No, they stopped doing psychological experiments on kids a while back.
Especially the hardcore ones like this.
Yeah.
And informed consent is a problem, too. It's very hard to get informed consent for these types of experiments from kids. Because you can get consent from the parents all you want. The subject's consent still matters.
Well, yeah, but as we've determined, parents are horrible. They'll send their kids in our house.
They'll let us have their kids for a few minutes.
Exactly.
They're idiots. They're horrible people. Yes,
They will throw their kids at the monsters.
Yes, we have literally observed that. They will yeet the kid at the monster. We've had our monsters actually catch kids.
Yes.
Just like, what do you want me to do with this?
They're going to Monster Catching Academy.
Well, mine now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But anyways, yeah, that's a good point. Parents are terrible. Pretty much across the board, parents are horrible. But yeah, there have been no actual studies on that, so we don't really know how younger people respond to this, and if maybe the widespread exposure of it is dampening its effect. And maybe like we're going to be the last generation that kind of really has to deal with it. Because CGI, when I was a kid, was Reboot was a level.
Yeah.
Or the Beverly Hills, or not the Beverly Hills.
No.
Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Oh, gotcha.
That I was thinking of the Weird Al one, Beverly
Yeah.
Hillbillies, which did the same thing. Because I always think of the Weird Al way before I get to the Dire Straits, which is weird. I actually like Dire Straits. But I always think of the Weird Al like way before it. Because I think it's the better song. Sorry. Oh, I'm going to take hell for that one. But anyways, so what are some examples of the Uncanny Valley? Well, CGI in film is basically like ground zero for this shit.
Yeah.
And for me, I think the ground zero film has got to be The Polar Express, 2004. It's a touching Christmas movie, I guess.
I guess. I think I've seen it once.
I've seen it. We saw it together, actually. We saw it once.
Yeah.
I just saw it as a string of monstrosities put together
Yeah.
in some kind of Christmas film format.
Yeah, I was not impressed.
It was creepy. And it's bad because it had, what's the guy's name that played Mandark and all that?
Oh,
Yeah,
that was not the guy I thought you were going to ask me
it had
for.
Tom Hanks in it as the conductor.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks is a lovely human being and can do no wrong, except being the Polar Goddamn Express.
Yeah, that. And because he has, I think him in the Polar Express was more Uncanny Valley because you're so used to seeing him as a person, and now you're seeing him as a not person.
Yeah. And Eddie Deason was the person I was thinking. Eddie
Yes.
Deason was the actor. Yeah. Eddie Deason's a neat dude, too. He's done a lot of fun stuff and done a lot of great voice acting. Very distinct voice. You can't miss him when you hear him. He stands out. But still, it's a fun... But still, I mean, it's got like all these great people involved with it, but it's just a terrifying string of horribleness. And here's some... And by the way, I put some quotes from reviewers when the movie came out, just to illustrate the point. One said... It's at best disconcerting, at worst a wee bit horrifying. I think you could have omitted the wee bit out of that. At worst, just fucking horrifying. Would have been fine.
Yeah.
And the other one was, the Polar Express is a zombie train.
Yeah.
And it was because it was at that time where CGI was good enough to do some motion capture and to do a lot of human-like stuff, but not good enough to do it convincingly.
Yeah.
Apparently, 3 years before, Shrek ran into Shrek is 2001. Now, everyone's like, what's wrong with Shrek? Shrek's fine. I didn't get it. No, you didn't, because you weren't in the screeners, apparently.
No.
They held screeners, and everyone said that Princess Fiona, was way too lifelike, and so they went back and made her more cartoonish in the final release.
Yeah, now
I suspect very good move.
Yeah, but I'm really curious what that first one is, if it sent kids screaming,
Yeah, kids, ah! Princess Fiona, no, not Shrek Fiona. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Beowulf 2007, a famous one. Angelina Jolie was in that. A bunch of others. They did something similar to what they did with Polar Express, where they did the motion capture CGI. Not ready. But just so you don't think it's only a then problem, The Lion King 2019 ran into issues where people were saying it was Uncanny Valley, and that had fucking lions in it. That was animals. It wasn't even people. But same concept. And Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember they had to go back and redo it.
Yeah.
Because Sonic was creepy as fuck.
Yes. Yes, they released the commercials and everybody's like, this is not what we asked for.
This is terrifying. He has human teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't give Sonic the Hedgehog human teeth. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you include a Sonic the Hedgehog in your haunted house, include human teeth. Otherwise, do not put human teeth on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, putting human teeth on things. does make it creepier. I've seen some taxidermy with human teeth
Oh, Lord.
that's yeah.
Oh, no. And then, of course, there's the famous Cats 2019, where the half cat, half human CGI was just unselling. It's because it was, and part of it was because it was all rushed animation. They tried to get it out too quickly, and they didn't. It looked undone, frankly.
Yeah.
And that pushed it in Uncanny Valley. There's also CGI issues in video games. Medal of Honor Warfighter, apparently, the cutscenes in it, I saw some images of it. They look terrifying. Brink 2011 did the weird thing of combining very realistic faces with cartoonish bodies. You had like these Team Fortress bodies, these very cartoony animated bodies with hyper-ish realistic faces, and that just was unsettling as hell.
Yeah, well, and I've seen some like commercials and things that I was like, oh, this is, a cool movie that's coming out. And then I took a second look, no, that's a video game. And then it was wrong, because then I noticed all the flaws.
Yeah. But the main thing, though, with video games is go back to, like, the PS2 era, back when we were first really getting into 3D games. And we're not quite at, like, the PS1 3D, where everything's all blocky and chunky. But you can do kind of more realistic stuff, but not really. And people still tried.
Yeah.
People still tried, and they really shouldn't have.
Well, people are always going to try.
Yes, they are. And that is unfortunate. People should just give up.
Yeah.
Anyways, another thing that commonly causes it is prosthetics. For the purpose of not freaking people out.
Yeah.
Or they often say that more unrealistic prosthetics are better than realistic ones.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that.
They're saying that you don't want to trip the Uncanny Valley if it's something that's going to be very visible, though.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I just think that if I needed a prosthetic, I might want one that looks human.
Practical,
yeah.
But it might also be deeply unsettling to a lot of people on a very fundamental level.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of would like the Terminator hand if I had to get a prosthetic.
I don't know. I've seen some that are really pretty. Like they've got tattoo artists painting them, and they're like just really cool. But
yeah, you can do some cool things with prosthetics. But yeah, prosthetics are a common source of Uncanny Valley, as are wax figures, which was very funny for me because we went to the wax museum that was here in New Orleans for a time, and I didn't get Uncanny Valley at all, but those were just shit wax figures, I think. Those were just crap. I think that was the problem there. I absolutely should have had Uncanny Valley experiences. But I did not. Because, like I said, let's be clear, it was not a super high-end wax museum.
No, it wasn't. You could tell they weren't people.
It was the Wish Wax Museum. AliExpress Wax Museum.
Yeah, now if we go to one that, is hyper-realistic wax museum, then you have that expectation that they're going to move, I think is where that unsettling feeling comes from.
Now, remember the wax figures we saw in Budapest in the cave?
Yeah.
I know that sentence made absolutely no sense to anyone not in this room.
Yeah.
But we did a tourist thing in there where you explored the caves under Buddha Hill. And they set up this weird historical thing with wax figures.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
It's supposed to be blood.
Yeah, it was you're supposed to get to Vlad.
Yeah.
There was other historical stuff that you did. You're supposed to work your way to Vlad and Dracula, which is weird. We're not even in Transylvania.
No.
We're actually about 300 miles away from it, as we learned.
Yeah.
Regardless. But yeah, those were not unsettling either because they were just not realistic enough to trigger Uncanny Valley. They were patently obviously wax figures.
Yeah.
So yeah, and basically anything that's human-like can cause it. So, think like, mannequins, dummies, things like that can trigger it too. So why use it? Well, you got to think of it as a free way to unsettle or gross people out a little bit.
Yeah, and we're using free here very loosely because you still have to pay for whatever you're going to use.
But in terms of like having to buy high-end props or it's a lower cost way.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's a misprint dummy somewhere, that would be perfect for this.
Yeah, you can probably get in on the Uncanny Valley far, far, far cheaper than you can something that's hyper-realistic and actually is not Uncanny Valley and is on the other side of the valley, so to speak. So, we like to think of it as a free or low-cost way to unsettle or gross people out. Now, it does not create a scare itself. It does not distract and startle, basically. It may be a distraction in some cases. You may be able to use it that way, but it's going to create a feeling of unease, and someone's going to realize things are wrong. If you've ever walked into a room in a haunt and went, "Oh, this is wrong," and it's not because of like messed up imagery around you, that's that feeling, and that's a good feeling because it lowers defenses and makes people ill at ease, and it also raises anticipation. Because we've talked in this podcast a lot about how if you attack, people's defenses go up and there's diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Well, what you can do is you can use something like an Uncanny Valley sequence as a break and lower those defenses and give them a new feeling they got to deal with.
Some kind of deep, unsettled, things aren't right.
And
it's like when things get too quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Or, once again, too dark.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing. It makes people very low-key afraid and sets them up to be easier for a startle or a scare down the road. And it may also, like I said, work as a distraction because people do tend to get very fixated on those objects. So if you have like a mannequin head or something that is in a well-lit or a brighter position, I should say, people will get very fixated on it and wondering what it's going to do. It's very hard to look away from something that unsettles you like that. And most importantly, it's low cost. Like I said, I said free in the show notes, but you're right. It's not free. You still got to pay for it. But it's going to be a lot cheaper to buy something that hits that uncanny valley point than it is to buy an ultra expensive, ultra realistic prop or to hire a human actor to generate that feeling.
Yeah. I remember people that I knew being terrified of like Teddy Ruxpin. And it was probably Uncanny Valley-ness because it was a talking, moving bear.
And also, Teddy Ruxpin, I think Teddy Ruxpin was different, though. I don't think Teddy Ruxpin was Uncanny Valley. You were just 100% sure that motherfucker was going to start whispering orders to murder your family. Like, that is some, Son of Sam shit, where that thing's going to start talking to you and telling you to do horrible things. It's that type of thing, I think. But I don't know, maybe it was Uncanny Valley. So, with that in mind, as we come to the end of the episode, some suggestions on how to incorporate Uncanny Valley into your haunt. And some tips on how to do it well. You ready? Number 1, creepy dolls. This is my personal least favorite way.
Yes, you hate these sequences.
I hate creepy doll sequences on a very fundamental level because it causes that deep, unsettling feeling. It's not I'm going to run away, I'm panic attacking. It's just, it's like a brick in your stomach feeling, It's that. Which, granted, with my stomach, almost anything causes a brick in the stomach feeling. But that's not the point.
No.
Creepy dolls, especially large-sized ones. Basically, dolls are an easy way to trigger the Uncanny Valley because they are meant to be lifelike, quote-unquote, but they're clearly not.
Yeah.
And then there's also that childhood attachment to them. You kind of get a double whammy with them.
Yeah, and I know that, a lot of haunts go for the messed up dolls.
Yeah.
They go for the dingy dolls, but I think it would be worse, more unsettling to walk into a room full of pristine dolls.
Yeah, because the messed up dolls kind of trigger a different thing. It's not Uncanny Valley, but it's a different thing where there's something sanctimonious in our systems about not harming people.
Right.
Right. Harming people is taboo on a fundamental level, right? Yeah. So, say as I nudge her gently.
Yes.
And pretend to harm her. But no, but harming people is a taboo on a fundamental level. And that also extends to harming human-like things.
Right.
So when someone has harmed a doll, that's just, that's a messed up person. Something wrong happened here.
Well, I don't know. I think that the messed up looking dolls also fit with the haunt scene.
Yeah.
It fits with the environment that you've been going through. It doesn't stand out as odd, as odd as something that would be pristine and like in cases and stuff.
And rot and, and broken downedness. Okay, that's fair. But yeah, they have a different effect, but they're less likely to get that true uncanny valleyness added to it.
Yeah.
But no, dolls, especially realistic baby dolls, really can be something. And that's the thing is, creepy dolls, especially baby dolls. It's easier to cause the uncanny valley with a baby because babies have fewer distinctive features than humans. If you think about it, like adults have wrinkles and lines, and our faces look all messed up and stuff. You know what I mean? Babies don't have that.
Yeah.
They're kind of doll-like in their own way. You know what I mean? Like, babies are the uncanny valley in a way.
They kind of are.
They kind of are.
Kids too.
Kids in general, yeah. They're kind of creepy like half humans. You know? Anyways. So yeah, dolls are one way. Wax figures, sculptures, and mannequins are another. A lot of people get really tense around mannequins.
Yeah, because one of them's going to move.
Theoretically, but what if they don't?
Yeah.
Human-like figures really mess with a lot of people. So my advice is, hey, there's a retail apocalypse going on. Maybe hit some store closings.
Yeah.
You can get some relatively low-cost mannequins. It's surprisingly cheap. And failing that, you can get sculptures, wax figures as well. One of our favorite things to do is go to the local wig shop and say, you got any surplus heads?
Yeah.
And guess what? They do.
Yeah.
They always do.
They always do.
We've never been told no.
No. And they're $5 to $10 each.
It's crazy cheap. And what I want to do one year is I want to get a whole bunch of these heads. It wouldn't fit with this year's theme.
Yeah.
But one year I want to get a whole bunch of those heads and just make a table of them. And just have them staring at you.
Yeah. Well, for the longest time, I really wanted to recreate the Hall of Heads from the Return to the Wizard of Oz.
Return to Oz.
Return to Oz. Yeah.
Yeah, Ozma's. Why do I know all this off the top of my head? This is what deep childhood trauma does to you.
Yeah. That was like the scariest thing I had seen as a kid at that point.
If you have not seen Return to Oz, you have homework now.
Yeah.
You need the Wheelers will fuck with you too. The Wheelers are Uncanny Valley personified.
I thought they were awesome. Even as a kid, I thought those things were cool.
They are awesome, but they are also Uncanny Valley personified. They can be both.
Okay.
They are
I'm
awesome.
like, I want wheels.
They were not as badass as TikTok, though. And then, no, not the app.
No.
TikTok, the Army of Oz. He's an ass kicker.
He is.
He's a rotund robot ass kicker. Just take me at my word if you haven't seen it. It's great. You should watch it. But no, mannequins and things like that are great. Masks and makeup. If you can make up someone so that they, like Crystal noted, their humanity is altered.
Yeah.
Like multiple eyes or just cover up part of the face.
And right now, with the cloth mask, the people who have their face printed on their mask,
Oh, that is uncanny.
but it's stretched.
Oh, that's wrong.
It's like, that's not your face.
No, that is not your face. That is wrong. That is Uncanny Valley. That is a deep fucking dive right off the diving board into the heart of the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. No. But make it look human or still distort. Like, I think the nurses from Silent Hill, and there's a bunch of designs on those.
Yeah.
But a lot of those are very Uncanny Valley because they will stretch and twist the face.
Yeah.
And do all kinds of messed up things with it. Some just have no face. That's also kind of very creepy. When you have someone with a humanoid shape but no face, that's unsettling as hell.
I do find the no faces more creepy, and that's something that comes up in sci-fi a lot too.
So yeah. And this is also why hockey masks are inherently scary, because they allow enough of the face to show that you know it's a face, but you can't see the face. Just please don't do Jason. And also, Michael Myers' mask is really effective here, too, because that is just a William Shatner mask, a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek, spray-painted white, to eliminate all those human-defining details.
Yeah.
So that's a plunge. So something like that is a plunge into the Uncanny Valley. Also, I'd encourage you, if you're not a WWE fan, just Google image search The Fiend's Lantern. Because it's a very creepy Uncanny Valley lantern. It's a guy's face, but the mouth is stretched wide open with a light inside. It's very unsettling.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And you can also use the cheap clear masks from like Spirit or something, because they will distort the face in unpredictable, random ways.
Yeah, those are surprisingly effective.
Yeah, you would not think like a clear mask, what's that going to do? It's not going to do it. No, it actually does something. It smushes the face, and then the light distorts on it, and it makes your figure look twisted. It's really, really weird. You can also do holograms and projections. It's difficult to do well. For every 10 holograms I've seen in a haunt, I've been impressed by one, maybe.
Yeah.
But they can be done. It's just expensive, yet I've seen it work. Artwork, feature artwork that's not fully human. Go over that creepy doll effect type thing. And one idea is to buy some cheap hotel art, some cheap hotel oils, and just smudge them in such a way that the faces lose their definition. That can be very unsettling.
Like retouching the Jesus painting.
Yeah, exactly. The Jesus fresco. Yeah, you're right. I've forgotten about that. But no, the Jesus fresco, that was just went full derp. That one went a little too far. That one went a little too bad. Went full derp on me.
To where it was just amusing.
Yeah. But you get but then, no, that's the idea, though. You distort it so that the humanity of it is lost. Mm-hmm. And it's a person, but not. You can trigger much of that same effect. Some additional tips, though. These are important things to keep in mind if you're going to try to use the Uncanny Valley. One, movement. Research shows that movement heightens the intensity. It both heightens the good feelings you have when it's the right, when it's in the good zones.
Right.
And it also deeply impacts the negative. And just think about, once again, the Silent Hill nurses.
Yeah.
One of the things about them is that they fucking move, and they don't fucking move like people.
Yeah.
They're humanoid shaped, and they have human-ish faces.
Right.
But they move in these jerky, blocky motions that are very alien to us. That just deepens the Uncanny Valley. So, movement. If you can make Uncanny Valley objects move even slightly, it adds a lot to it. Mm-hmm. Lighting. Lighting has to be kept at an appropriate level here. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Just be mindful of your lighting. Because it's got to be visible enough that people can see it's humanish, but not so much they can immediately tell what it is.
So like bar lighting?
Yeah, bar lighting is good. Yeah, that's just it. If it's meant to make ugly people attractive, it's probably right for causing the Uncanny Valley. That's a good tip, Crystal.
That's not exactly what I said. Might have been what I was thinking, but I didn't say.
Yeah, Christian is in the chat right now pulling out my best worst quotes, which is appropriate. Yes. That goes in there too, Christian. If it's meant to make ugly people look attractive, it's probably good for causing Uncanny Valley. Uh-huh. That's a good quote. Don't use it as a startle. Don't just make it the one thing in that room or that area. Don't just put it in there and say this is going to scare people. It's not. It's a creep out. It's a gnawing. It's a chewing thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily cause a scare by itself. It's not going to get a scream.
But it can.
It can sometimes.
I mean, I've seen some of those giant doll costumes freak people out enough where they scream.
It's sudden movement they do too in those cases. That's the startle. You can use it as the distract and the startle in some cases, but the startle is the motion and the jumping out, not the Uncanny Valley itself.
Right.
So that's more what I'm talking about. Don't trust the Uncanny Valley aspect of it to be the scare. Mm-hmm. It's like it says, the lower shields serve as a break between scares, keep people on their toes and ill at ease. It's those things. Sound. Mm-hmm. I want to do a whole episode at some point on how to fuck up sound so it sounds horrifying. Yeah. I think we should.
We should.
Because I've actually gotten pretty damn good at that. And it's very easy to do with free software. Yeah. I just use Audacity for it. It's totally free, open source audio editing software. And you can take sounds like a song, or even just like people talking, or any kind of commonplace sound, and make it sound really messed up. It's not necessarily the Uncanny Valley, but it can accent it and make it much worse. And make it so that it's noticeably wrong. Slow it down, change the pitch, mess with it. And it will basically further affect and turns that unsettling feeling into a multi-sensory one, which, as we're always talking about in this podcast, the more senses you can violate, the better.
Exactly.
This is such a quotable episode, unfortunately.
Yes, we're going to have to go back through it and pull them out, put them on t-shirts.
And finally, experiment with the levels. Remember that not everyone experiences the Uncanny Valley at the same point on that graph. Right. It's different for different people slightly, so feel free to have some heads be more realistic than others or less realistic. That way, there's going to be a balance there. Mm-hmm. You got to find that point. It's different for different people. And also remember that people experience it at different intensities. I tend to feel it pretty strongly. Mm-hmm. Other people feel it, but barely notice it or acknowledge it. Just understand that there's going to be a difference there. No scare works 100% of the time. It's like the clown thing.
No.
If you have a phobia of clowns, a clown room is your hell.
Yeah.
If you grew up watching Bozo on Sundays, doesn't really impress you much.
No.
Just saying, you know. I literally was raised on clowns. I had a very traumatic childhood. No, but,
No, you didn't.
No. But no, it's fine. The point is, though, not everyone's going to be impacted differently. Same with spiders, same as any other phobia. But this is one that pretty much everyone feels to some extent. It's just whether or not it's a great extent.
Right.
Well, that's all we have this week. Yeah. Did anyone have anything on the question of the week? I didn't see any. Oh, well, Bill Ritchie said no building this year.
Yeah, and Pete Blackwell said, doesn't affect me. I build with natural trees, branches, etc., materials, and donated scrounged materials. Try a scene like that. It's a whole new creep factor.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. I mean, this may be the year you experiment with something like that.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, oh, yeah, we're going to spend $800 in lumber to redo this room. Maybe this is the year you traipse it through the woods and get some branches and other random bits and bobs or some disused pallets or whatnot and try that.
Yeah.
Like, I am surprised I have not seen a significant uptick in pallet building on the haunt groups.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of people are still talking about it, but it's not nearly the extent I thought they would.
Yeah.
Like, we did some pallet stuff.
Mainly for yard displays.
Yeah, mostly for the yard display.
Yeah. We've done it once in an area that wasn't close to customers or actors.
We did it once in a ceiling, too.
Yeah. Just because we don't feel comfortable putting customers near pallets, because pallets can be pretty chewed up.
Yeah,
and yes, I know you can sand them down and make them safe, and I don't have that kind of time.
Well, not only that, but even then, it's hard to do it perfectly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For me, I understand that a lot of haunts do it very well. I've never mastered it to that extent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's my thing, is I just haven't mastered it.
Yeah.
We're 2x4 construction all around here, and that's kind of our Jimmy Jam. So yeah, this year would suck if we had to build anything.
Yeah.
Luckily we don't, so we're doing pretty well. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. It has been great having you once again. Whenever you're listening to this, greatly appreciate you taking the time. This has been Haunt Weekly episode 277, talking about the Uncanny Valley and how to use it in haunts.
Yes, and thank you also to the people who have ordered things from our store.
Yes.
We have had our first orders. We are excited.
Yes, and they have been shipped, actually. I can confirm they are on their way right now.
Yes.
Definitely take a moment and check out said store at hauntweeklystore.com. Once again, use the code Uncanny Valley, UNCANNEY VALLEY, or not E, UNCANNY VALLEY. God damn it! You can spell Uncanny Valley. Google it if you can't. I apparently can't.
Not right now.
Man, picked the wrong weekend to not drink. But on that note, definitely check it out, hauntweeklystore.com. Use the code Uncanny Valley, 20% off. And for more Haunt Weekly, go to hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly. And also check us out on Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week when Japes comes and pays us another visit. I am excited as hell. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to this already. See you all then.